Good morning, YouTube. Happy Memorial Day. This is Tyre Metalhead Weatherman. A lot of developments since I made a video yesterday morning. A lot of it not so good news in regards to the weather. Actually seeing some very alarming things beginning to take shape here. This could turn into a very volatile day on multiple fronts. Not trying to scare anyone, but in all honesty, I'm not liking how things have looked for neither Hurricane Agatha or the severe weather threat today. Things have really taken a turn here. Well, for one, I'm pretty sure a fair amount of people might know this already, but now we have a moderate risk for severe weather issue today, and that's pretty much all we're going to be focusing on. I do acknowledge there being a day 2, 3, and 4, but this is a pretty big deal that we got going on here because pretty much everything in this moderate risk is elevated to a very substantial level. It's very alarming, and it definitely needs to be covered with some detail. So let's get right into it here. These severe thunderstorm watches have now been allowed to expire, but this is not the main severe threat. This is something I want to make very clear. I want to emphasize this right now. This is not the severe threat currently. This severe threat, this is yesterday's severe threat that's beginning to wind down here. And what this is going to do is create a boundary and set the stage for our next bunch of storms that will be coming in later today. So basically this area right here that's experiencing weather right now will experience maybe more significant weather later today, in other words. So let's take a look at the outlook, the hazard outlooks. And as you can see, we have a very elevated tornado threat. Not only do we have a 10%, we now have a 15% area. This includes areas east of Fargo. This includes areas east of Aberdeen and areas to the north of Sioux Falls. So basically this little 3-state area, this little small sliver of North Dakota, good chunk of central Minnesota, and a corner of South Dakota, you guys are in line for some very nasty weather and potentially even some strong to violent tornadoes today. There's also another 10% area that includes Iowa, a little corner of Nebraska, a little corner of Missouri, and also Kansas. So we'll have to be watchful of that as well. I mean, really, any of these areas here, you could see some tornadoes, but this area is what has my attention more than anything. I've been saying that this area was an area of interest due to how strong that low-level jet was, and unfortunately, things definitely do not look like they have trended downward, if anything. So let's look at the wind and hail threats here. Wind threat is extremely high as well. Pretty much the entire enhanced and moderate risk region have a 45% chance or 30 to 45% chance of not only damaging straight line winds, but also significant damaging winds. So we could be looking at some gusts closed in at 70, 75 miles an hour or more today. So things definitely have progressed since the video yesterday morning and since the updates yesterday evening. Go to the hail threat here. Hail threat's also very high. We're at a 30% and a very, very large hatched risk area. I wouldn't even be surprised if this goes up to about 45% right around here. So we're gonna take a really close look at all of this right here. We're going to start out looking at the low-level jet. I haven't really gotten to take a look at this since yesterday afternoon, but I'm just pretty sure that things will be uptrending significantly over the coming hours. And there we have it right there. We're getting towards that 50, 65 mark right into the evening hours. This could be a nocturnal threat as well. Definitely not liking how this looks. It's in great position for where that upper level low is if you're looking for tornadic development. Definitely not what you want to see if you're not wanting severe weather in particular. Really, with this kind of setup, I don't think anyone does. Let's take a look at the surface base cape here. I expect some pretty high numbers, to be honest, with the setup like this. And we're getting into that. Oh my goodness. And you can even start to see some of the pinks. And if you get towards the pinks, you're getting towards about 4,000 joules plus. And lo and behold, there we are. Let's go over into this area and see what we got here. Oh man. Yep. There it is. Well curved hordeograph. Dew points ridiculous. Temperature in the 80s. Definitely turning of the winds with height with these wind barbs here. Kind of has a slightly linear look to it, but that may not matter. Definitely a there's definitely a pickup on supercell here. And this thing, and this significant tornado parameter from the looks of it is almost maxed out. And then we're hitting close to 5,000 joules per kilogram, according to the look on Cape. That's not what you want to see at all. Not what we want to see at all for this area. So we're definitely going to have to look into the late evening, overnight hour, the mid to late evening into the overnight hours for this threat. We're going to take a look at the lapse rates too. We're going to really cover this thoroughly here. This might turn into a longer video. I'm not really thinking so, but I'm just giving you a fair warning in advance. I'm just waiting for this to load. Okay, it has. Yeah, you can even see the lapse rates are pretty amped up here, especially as we get later into the evening. Even in the areas that aren't in the enhanced and moderate risk, we have some pretty ridiculous lapse rates. Got lapse rates of nearly 8 to 9, so I'm expecting some big hail, maybe even DVD sized. Trying to make some light out of this. Let's take a look at the significant tornado parameter. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna like looking at this, considering how volatile the atmosphere is. Anyone that's out in this area, I know it's Memorial Day. You probably are planning to be grilling, having big gatherings. Just keep an eye on the weather. If you get a warning issue, you might want to take it seriously, because you don't want to get caught off guard by one of these storms. It could turn this day very sour. Oh my goodness, look at that. It's very high. Those are some pretty high numbers already, and that's not even towards the peak part of the day. That is not towards the peak part of the day. And this even lingers into the morning hours around Kansas as well. That's a little bit alarming. Wow, but look at those values there. That is crazy. Wish this cursor would let me see just how intense they are. But we're getting close to the max out point here as well. Oh, and what do you know? Look at that Pds Tornado. That's something you never want to see. And look at the, wow, just look at that low level shear. Look at the directional shear. Not only is the low level jet strong, but there's so much turning going on towards the surface especially. And even into the higher levels we got a fair amount of shear. Like there is some turning up here, but right around here towards the surface where I'm really worried about. And this is maxed out, and this significant tornado parameter, it's maxed out. So you could, I mean, I wouldn't say that it's impossible to get an EF5 even. I would hope not. But this is definitely not what you would want to see, what you're wanting to see. Definitely not what I'm wanting to see for these people either. Man, that is insane. So we're definitely going to be having to look around about 5-6 o'clock Central Time in this area for what may become a very extreme severe weather event. Let's hope this doesn't happen, but this is definitely looking pretty nasty here. Well, we don't really need to take too much of a further look at the bulk shear. Let's just take a look at what it'll look like today. Almost would say close your eyes, because this has a nasty look to it. Also, gonna touch on that while this stuff is starting to come in. Gonna touch on some of the snow here that could be going on in Wyoming and parts of Idaho today, mainly towards the higher elevations. And there it is. And there's our storm. Look at this upper level low just spinning like a top. Even with this line, I think there's a chance of embedded supercells, some of which could spawn some really nasty tornadoes in its own right. But I'm mainly going to be concerned about anything that forms out ahead of it, because those will be the storms that have the greatest opportunity to produce the most strong tornadoes, because they won't have to compete with other storms in such a favorable environment. But that's what we have going on here. We'll talk about Tuesday, maybe later today even. I don't know. But yeah, but wait though, we still have more to talk about in this video. Already sitting at 10 minutes. Let's take a look at Agatha here. And lo and behold, we're getting close to land, and look at how strong she has gotten. She's actually exceeded some expectations. We thought she would reach Category 2, but she's on the cusp of Category 3. A major hurricane moving into Central America here, towards the western parts of New Mexico. This is, not New Mexico, wow, what's wrong with me? Mexico. Extremely low pressure. We're at 964 millibars. Things moving really slow at 6 miles per hour, 5 knots, whichever one you want to call it. And this is as of the 7 a.m. update. I think within the coming out, and I can already tell you for a fact that conditions are definitely deteriorating on the western coast, on the southwestern coast here, and we can only expect that to continue. So let's get a look at the hazards here for this. This is a little bit out of date advisory. It's a little bit closer than that, unfortunately. But I wouldn't be surprised if this makes it all the way up to major hurricane just before landfall. It's a good look at, here's a better look at the storm system here. Really well organized, very healthy feeder bands. Not the most pronounced eye on it yet, or an eye wall, and I think that might be the only saving grace we have here. But even so, this is a very powerful hurricane that will be moving into southwestern Mexico later today. I'm already expecting tropical storm conditions to be unfolding, and lo and behold, they have. Storm surge is definitely going to be on the rise as we go through the hours today, and there's probably been a boatload of heavy rain, which I expect to continue as well. The other thing that will need to be watched, even though I can't get a great look over this area of Mexico, is on this right front quadrant here is the threat of tornadoes. That's always going to be a thing with inland hurricanes. On this right front quadrant, there's always a sufficient amount of wind shear, and there's always a chance of a quick spin up. It's rare to get strong tornadoes from a hurricane, but it's not impossible. So I have to be real careful with that. Man, what an ugly situation. It's not Memorial Day there, but even so, it's midsummer. I'm sure there's a lot of tourism going on around this area. So the hope is that people have taken this seriously and have evacuated inland, and hopefully no one's really trying to ride this one out. So pouring over this data here real quick. Oh, but there's even more to this storm now. Let's go over to the Atlantic, because you probably know what I'm about to say here. Okay. Still no tropical cyclone activity expected during the next 48 hours. Okay, we know that. Now let's take a look at the 5-day. That's when things get interesting. Yesterday we only had up to about a 30% chance. That potential has gone up to 40 now. So confidence continues to increase, especially as this storm strengthens. that that the remnants of Agatha will make their way into the Gulf and potentially become our first named storm in the Atlantic. And like I said, what I'm really concerned about here with this storm is that once the remnants get in here, water's very warm, wind shear's very light, it could easily redevelop and strengthen into something potentially significant. Do I know the answers to all of that? No, but we will be going over that more probably tonight or tomorrow even. But this is all I got for this video right now. I'm pleading with you, if you are in this area of interest today, just be very watchful of the weather. Be extremely careful. If a warning is issued, take it seriously, because you don't want to get caught up in a situation where you don't see it coming. But this is all I got tonight for this morning. I might post another video tonight, and definitely have multiple ways to get warnings. This has been Tired Metalhead Weatherman. Stay safe. Have a good Memorial Day, and I will see you later.